All right, so we tackled the issue of the supposed grape in Deuteronomy 22, verse 28.
Yes, sir. You can watch it right here on my channel. It's the one with this lovely thumbnail. We go into detail about why this is seduction and not a case of rape.
Right.
But I think I should add some more meat to these bones here by talking about the entire book of Deuteronomy as a whole.
Why's that?
Well, the book of Deuteronomy has a lot to it, but it's basically depicting the end of Moses' life. And it's him giving a speech, reiterating laws that already existed, adding some new ones, but he's restating a lot of them and making them current to this new generation of Israelites that are about to enter the land God promised them.
Okay.
It's a call to obey and love God, and warning them what disobedience did to the generations before them. And the interesting thing is, one of the things that he reiterates is Exodus chapter 22, verse 16, which may sound familiar.
What one's that?
Well, this controversy surrounding Deuteronomy 22, verse 28 has to do with a virgin who is supposedly raped, right? Which I argue is, of course, non-consensual seduction, because that's the definition of normal seduction.
Dearest Guinevere, thou hast tickled my fancy in recent months, and thou would flatter me if thou granted me thy permission to flirt, or shall I say, seduce thee, the next time we meet.
Yeah, I guess you're right.
But get this, one law that already existed, meaning it was already known to the Israelites and Moses was just adding flavor to it, was this law in Exodus 22 verse 16. I touched on it briefly in the last video, but let me read it again for clarity.
Okay.
So again, this is the law that had already existed prior to Deuteronomy. If a man seduces a virgin who is not betrothed and sleeps with her, he must pay a dowry for her to be his wife. If her father absolutely refuses to give her to him, he shall pay money equal to the dowry for virgins, which is the same punishment over in Deuteronomy 22.
Right, so you're saying this is basically the same law.
Yes, I mean, all Moses adds in Deuteronomy is how the man cannot divorce her for any reason his entire life, and then adds clarity as to why the man gets the brunt of the responsibility. And this is where the controversy comes in when this verse is isolated, specifically when it says the man seizes her, which means to capture or take.
Yes.
So again, the nature of seduction can include taking or even capturing a woman without consent.
What do you mean?
Just think of any romance movie. You know, you got the man and the woman making eyes at each other at a crowded place, and maybe they had some form of flirtatious interaction beforehand. Then the man takes her hand and pulls her away somewhere private, or sweeps her off her feet, again, without her consent. But let's put away these semantics for a second and just ask a logical question here.
Okay.
Don't you think it's odd for Israel to have known this previous law that condemned virgins being seduced, to have all of a sudden been given this new law that condones raping them?
Well,
You don't think someone along the way was like, hey, so we have to protect virgins from seduction, but not from rape? Of course not. To assume that seizing a girl has to mean rape, or even sexual assault, means either you're ignorant of this law that already existed, and ignoring everything I already covered in the last video, or you have an agenda to ensure this Bible is painted with an evil brush.